We will enforce the provision of the criminal code.
And the AIG also urged citizens to come out and exercise their franchise because the police and other security agencies have made adequate deployment to ensure a hitch-free election.
We are deploying massively for this election. We are committed to policing this election effectively and satisfactorily. All persons who are criminally minded and who may want to come out to disrupt this election are hereby warned to have a change of mind. We as security agents, we are going to provide level playing ground for all the candidates in this election. Our men have already taken post and we are ready for Saturday. All areas are covered by our deployment. The deployment we have here now covers everywhere. Nowhere is being left open.
AIG Ebetekun, pardon me. Also said restrictions order from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on movement of vehicles will be strictly enforced.
Let me seize this opportunity to warn that restriction order on movement of vehicles during the conduct of this election will be strictly enforced. Everyone is advised to take this warning seriously, and if they are arrested, they will not be spared. So I advise all citizens of Rivers State to please follow the rules. The rule is that there will be restriction of movement, vehicular movement during the period of voting, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So everyone is advised to comply with this instruction.
I assure people that the election in Rivers State tomorrow will improve because the police have learned from the mistakes of the presidential election.
That the synergy that is existing between the police and other sister agencies in this state will be taken advantage of in this coming election. The 3 weeks period that we have between the last election and now have been utilized to cross our T's and dot our I's in preparing for this election. We therefore look forward to a better election on Saturday.
Let's talk about this for the moment. As the chief domestic security agency in the country, what impact has the Nigeria Police Force had on elections in Nigeria? Are you convinced the police have learned anything from the presidential and National Assembly elections which will come into play as far as their conduct in tomorrow's elections is concerned? Send the messages in via WhatsApp on 0809 0306416. That's 0809 0306416. Via facebook.com/NigeriaInfoPH. We're live there as well. Via Twitter at NigeriaInfoPH. Ready. Dial same old story. The police activities tomorrow. Forget about the police. Good afternoon, Dial. I will not take the police seriously because we have not heard that they have arrested any of those who are seen in viral videos harassing and intimidating voters. They will still be at the polling units and the electoral materials carted away. They will also shield politicians to go to rack centres and INEC offices where they were not supposed to be. For me, the statement from the AIG is just another statement to show they are working. That's some Amos. Now, sitting down at polling units, waiting for the highest bidder. It's so pathetic. Etta goes, hi there. Tomorrow we are going to let the political class. Okay, no, this was for the previous. All right. What do you make of the words of the AIG, who I believe is going to be addressing or who is taking charge of security matters, at least as far as the police is concerned? He's spoken some very, very strong words. He's spoken tough. But I'm asking you, once again, as the chief domestic pastor, has said that indeed anything from the presidential and National Assembly elections which will come into play in tomorrow's elections. Feel free to join me via facebook.com/NigerianForPH, via Twitter at NigerianForPH, and WhatsApp on 0809 030 6416. Agree to die. I would never take the police seriously. Were they not there when people were snatching ballot boxes during the presidential election? They're sounding like good people now. They should go and sit down. That's from Frank. Yeah, but that's what the AIG is saying, Frank. He's saying that they have learned, they've taken stock, if you will, of the things that transpired, in the last elections, the presidential and National Assembly elections. They've learned now. They are a new and improved police force. They are a better police unit right now. So they've taken notes. They've reviewed the evidence. They've reviewed video evidence and other evidence presented to them, and they've learned. They got an education and they have received enlightenment as well, supposedly, and they're going to do better. That's what the AIG is saying, I think. Demis Namadi on Facebook goes, Nigeria has turned to a land of cruise. Irundi Glock Favor on Facebook goes, have you not seen the online video where cultists were sent by some party leaders and were telling landlords to warn their tenants not to come out to vote if they won't vote for their party, as if they dare come out, whatever they see they should take. Forget about the police, they have failed us. Alright, still lines are open. No, not lines. I meant the WhatsApp line. That's what I meant. On 0809 030 6416. And I also meant communication lines. They're open. Another communication line is via facebook.com/NigeriaInfoPH. Another one via Twitter @NigeriaInfoPH. Good afternoon, Dial. The police, just as some of the NYC members that will be officiating in this election, see it as money-making venture. I particularly don't believe the AIG and would never do. Politicians will brandish the police with brown envelopes and you will not hear them say or do anything again. I liken his comments to that of the reading out of the so-called Riot Act. Oh, that one. Oh, yeah. Every IG seems to do that. Every police commissioner as well seems to do that. But every senior police officer that's been promoted or sent to a different unit reads that act, the riot version of it, of course, or reads the act, the riot version. Good evening. For me, the Nigeria police have not learned any lesson. He's just saying it so that people would say he's working. Police, you've not learned any lesson. QED. That's from Michael. The Nigerian police is always reading the Riot Act. Who wrote the script for them? Because it's the same statement, yet they will do nothing to help to carry the ballot boxes. They will do nothing, rather help to carry the ballot boxes to the Oga at the top. Alright, good afternoon, Dial. I have -10 faith in the police. They have shown time and time again they are not to be trusted or believed. For instance, they mentioned some officers were arrested following the last elections, but they are yet to give us the names of the officers. Personnel. What is the essence of deploying now that to polling unit? Police can't always control the people at the polls without a rifle. The language people understand is gone. We're always handicapped while election materials are being taken away. Our lives are important to us too. I don't entirely agree with that. With due respect to the police officer who has sent this message in, I don't entirely agree with you. And here's why I say that. Let's take an average polling unit. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you have 200 eligible voters there. Maybe you have 200. Some have way more than that. Some have 500. Let's put it at 200. You have 200 voters there, and you, a police officer, have been stationed or assigned to that polling unit. Maybe there's just you, or maybe there's two of you, and you're there. To about 200 voters, not counting the INEC officials who are present as well. And you may even have maybe an NSCDC official there, or some other security, an agent of some other security agency there as well. and then maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 people, maybe even 6, maybe 7, maybe 10 people come there brandishing machete, brandishing sticks, cutlasses, and the rest of it, wanting to snatch ballot boxes or beavers and all that. You are the symbol of authority there. You have an army of 200 people behind you. If you stand up and say, no, it's not going to happen, you have a standing army of 200 people. I have to go for commercial break now. I'll return to this when after that. Please stay with us. I'll to be back in a bit.
We take off with the biggest conversations.
A clean surrounding is a collective effort. Diseases
Welcome back to Hard Factor Nigeria in Funher in Port Harcourt. I'm Dial. 29 going past 4 p.m. We are a number one talk station. I was my bulletin earlier. The AI advised AI Kaide with giving a press briefing on the police headquarters the provisions of the law.
In this elected conduct, we will not allow any person to this. We are committed to ensuring peaceful conduct, and in this, to enforce all laws relating to this election. We will enforce all the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We will enforce the provision of the criminal code.
These have been added deployment to ensure a free election.
We are deploying massively for this election. We are committed to policing this election effectively and satisfactorily. All persons who are criminally minded and who may want to come out to disrupt this election are hereby warned to have a change of mind. We as security agents, we are going to provide the level playing ground for all the candidates in this election. Our men have already taken post and we are ready for Saturday. All areas are covered by our deployment. The deployment we have here now covers everywhere. Nowhere is being left open.
AIG Egbetogun also said the restrictions order from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on movement of vehicles will be strictly enforced.
Let me seize this opportunity to warn that restriction order on movement of vehicles during the conduct of this election will be strictly enforced. Everyone is advised to take this warning seriously, and if they are arrested, they will not be spared. So I advise all citizens of Rivers State to please follow the rules. The rule is that there will be restriction of movement, vehicular movement during the period of voting, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So everyone is advised to comply with this instruction.
Now, he assured Rivers people that the Saturday's election in Rivers State will improve because the police have learned from the mistakes of the presidential election.
That the synergy that is existing between the police and other sister agencies in this state will be taken advantage of in this coming election. The 3 weeks period that we have between the last election and now have been utilized to cross our T's and dot our I's in preparing for this election. We therefore look forward to a better election on Saturday.
There you have it. Let's talk about this development about the police in all of this as well. Is what we're discussing at this time. What I'm asking you is, as the chief domestic security agency in the country, what impact has the Nigeria Police Force had on elections in Nigeria? What impact did they have in the last elections? Are you convinced, as the AIG has said, that they did indeed learn anything and are going to improve the process tomorrow? Let's get your take. Not taking calls on today's show. A reminder, however, via WhatsApp, send a message on 0809 030 6416. That's 0809 030 6416. Or via facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. Via Twitter as well, at Nigeria Info PH. Via Facebook, Flamers go, they have become the country's latest terror. Oh my. I've got tons of messages via WhatsApp. Let's start with this one. What has the police done in the past 3 weeks on the issues of kidnapping and picking up of persons? Absolutely nothing. I therefore consider the words of the AIG as empty words that won't be backed by action on election day. The police in Rivers State is partisan. It is incompetent in service delivery to Rivers people, Rassam Otis. The AIG is trying to frighten some parties so that their paymasters will have their way. I hope they will disappoint me. That's from Kinsley. Lest I forget, the police should go to I can't trust Nigerian police, not today, not tomorrow. What have they done with the plethora of evidence of criminality during the last election? If this particular assurance is breached, as it's very likely to, will the police be held accountable? If Fediba sent that. Alright, greetings dial. The AIG said restriction of movement is between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. The AIG said restriction is between 12 a.m. and 6 p.m. Oh, it is 12 a.m. as a matter of fact. Which one are we going to follow? Cost 1 of 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. can enable voters whose polling units are very far to leave their residence much earlier and arrive at their PU before 6 a.m. That's from Godwin. Well, what we heard before now was midnight. That's 12 a.m. 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. These are the same promises Nigerian police keep making, and yet they will even be abating the crimes. In some unexplainable cases, the police are even taking part in the electoral irregularities. Police in Nigeria are only interested in their personal gain and can easily be induced with a token or brown envelope. It's the same. Empty promises. And by tomorrow night, you will hear another ridiculous news about the police after all these promises. That's from Maxwell. Michael goes, until I see an officer or a team of officers of the Nigeria Police Force stop the politicians, especially those on ground in Rivers State, from moving beyond their respective polling units tomorrow, I cannot take the bountiful words of this AIG serious. I know they can if they really want to work. After all, they stopped the Kogi governor going to LGA of a senatorial contestant. That's from Natasha. Oh, a senatorial candidate, Natasha. Okay, all right. Now, they should also be clear on the time for restriction of movement, because I know that from 12 a.m. today, these new leaf policemen will start putting roadblocks on the road to collect money from those going home late tonight. Bacha Road and Ajib Road police stations are the chief enforcers. The commissioner should take note. Just get home before midnight, okay? Just, spare yourself the drama and then the horror and even the trauma. All right, just get home. Make sure you're in before midnight. All right, once again, spare yourself the trouble. All right. Good day. The police are humans like we are. We should respect and support them to be more effective, neutral, and professional. The police is a better option to fight electoral crime. Let the police not submit themselves as tools in the hands of the politicians. Police aiding the politicians to install a wrong government will inflict severe pains on all, the police inclusive. That's from Joel Adolphus once again. Now, I remember before I went for the break, I read a message from message I believe came from a police officer. I was expressing some thoughts in that before I went for the break, and I would like to continue that. Okay, I can't seem to find that message again. Sadly, really. It was real sad. But, okay, I think I found it. I think it's here now. Oh, okay, he's added to the messages he sent. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, I like this. We're having a conversation. So here is the original message sent by this fellow, whom I believe is a police officer. This one I read before I took a break for the news. Yeah. Was it the news or a commercial break, rather? Dia, good evening. I want to remain anonymous because I'm a personnel. What is the essence of deploying the personnel without a rifle to a polling unit? Police can't always control the people at the polls without a rifle. The language people understand is gone. We're always handicapped while election materials are being taken away. Our lives are important to us too. Let me address that for a bit before I go to the other messages that this fellow has sent in. I think, and once again, with due respect to this police officer who sent this message, this message encapsulates a fundamental problem with policing in Nigeria. Not just policing, security basically, vis-a-vis the actions and inactions or the mindsets and perspectives of agents of security agencies, officers, officials of security agencies in Nigeria. You, this police officer, and others like him, believe that their power comes from the gun. The average policeman in Nigeria and other security agents as well believe that their power comes from the gun, that their power comes from a show of force. And that's why an officer believes that to prove to you that he's a police officer, he has to slap you. When he slaps you, when there is that show of force, then you believe he's a police officer. Then you know that he has power over you. And that's the whole point of it, to show that I have power over you. And to do that, I must exert some force over you, even when that force is entirely not necessary. A police officer is not expected to show force every time. As a matter of fact, there are instances when if you show force, you are liable. There could be consequences, even criminal consequences, if you show force in certain scenarios. But the average officer believes that it's all about force. You know, a gun. That's why he hates. I will shoot you now. Nothing will happen. I will shoot you. And then an officer, you're having a conversation with a police officer. You're asking an officer a question, and he believes that the only way he can respond to you to let you know he has power over you. And that's what it is for them. It's about power over you. It's about power over the civilian. It's about superiority. It's about I'm superior to you. And to show that superiority, you ask a question. Rather than provide a response to that question, the officer is convinced the best thing to do is to slap you. And then in your shock then proves to him that, oh yes, I'm superior. I'm a police officer. Can you see I'm an officer now? It appears you were not aware before that I'm an officer. Now that I have slapped you so audaciously, so confidently, I have slapped you. Now, can you now see and tell? Have you perceived now that I am an officer? But nothing could be farther from it. That wrong perspective is what makes them act the way that they do. I will slap you part. I will shoot you. Nothing will happen. But it's not the gun, really. I mean, I hate to bring back a bad memory, but it's an example that suffices for this conversation. When we had people, hoodlums, criminal elements who took advantage of the NSAS protests across the country, and they went to police stations, even here in Rivers State, attacked police officers, and even murdered some of them in cold blood. Didn't they have guns? They had guns. They had guns. Some of them could have even slapped somebody that morning. You know. However, what gives you the authority, what gives you the power in quotes, is your uniform. Your uniform and the identity card that's given to you. That's what gives you the authority. That's what gives you the power. And I use the word power very carefully here. The gun is just a tool. The gun is not the power. The gun is not the authority. No. The gun is just a tool to help, to aid you in carrying out your task. For example, a doctor is a doctor, whether or not the doctor has a stethoscope on him or her. A doctor does not have a stethoscope on them, does not make them any less a doctor than the one who's got 20 stethoscopes hanging around her neck. The stethoscope is simply there to help the doctor do their job. If a doctor does not have a stethoscope on them at any point in time, it does not remove the status of doctor from them. The same thing with a police officer. What am I driving at? We need to change a lot of mindsets with our security agents in the country, the police, But that's a conversation for another day. Now, in this case, if you understand, and if the people by extension understand that the authority of a police officer comes from your uniform, and your ID card and not from a gun, then you understand that you have power, you have authority. And the people appreciate that as well, because you are a symbol. Because of that uniform that you wear, the ID card that you carry. Of course, there are instances where even when policemen are bearing firearms, you have to retreat. I mean, even when you have an entire unit, a tactical unit of a police, a police tactical unit with firearms and all that, and you're encountering criminals who are also with firearms, there are instances when you may have to retreat. Now, if you retreat in that scenario, does it mean that they are no longer police officers? Does it mean that they're no longer tactical officers? No, they are still, in spite of the guns. Or if a police officer loses his gun, does he cease to be a police officer? No, it doesn't. He's still a police officer. So it's not the gun that confers authority on you. No, it's not. Now, that said, could there be a scenario where a gun would be needed? Yes, that's why the guns are issued, because there are scenarios when the guns are needed. But not in every case. I dare say, not even in most cases. In most cases, the gun is not needed, really. It's not needed. But this officer has sent in some other messages, so I'll get to those right now as well. Dyer, concerning this post, you should be aware that most political parties arm their boys to come destroy elections in various polling units. In various polling units, they think they're losing, while voters, maybe 200, and INEC ad hoc staff will run for their lives. A police personnel without rifle can't stay either. If only the police management can deploy a police patrol team to a particular polling unit, part of this election violence will be reduced. The police is only doing one particular thing over time during every election and are expecting results? No. Well, once again, I don't agree with you entirely. What is the job of a police officer? You have to be able to assess, the security, the risk. You need to be able to assess the situation. The security situation in your environment. When you get to that polling unit, you do an assessment. You don't just sit and then you start hearing noise. You say, you hear, then you say everybody running. Then you are falling on top of your falling over table and chair, and they start running away. No, that's not it. That's not it. No. You assess the situation. You assess the environment. You assess what's going on. Before you are posted to that place, by the way, there needs to have been some kind of a briefing done. Is that place a flashpoint? Is that polling unit or that community, that area, what is it known for? Is it a known hotspot? Is it known for electoral violence or electoral malfeasance? If it is, what is the strategy? What's the plan? Is the plan to go there and spread on plastic chair, spread on white plastic chair, and doze off? Is that the plan? Is that a strategy? And yes, there are maybe some occasional instances when these hoodlums come with guns. If that's the scenario, obviously you're overpowered, and there may be 200 voters there are also overpowered. Or, then you can make way for them. But in most cases, they don't come with guns. They come maybe with sticks and stones and machete and bottles. I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, even if they're 10, like I said. You have an army of 200 people. You are a police officer, for crying out loud. You're wearing a uniform. You carry a symbol. You're an authority. If you tell those 200 people to stand with you against these 5 hoodlums who are holding sticks and cudgels and cutlasses, they will. They will, because those 200 people want to protect their votes as well. They want to. They want to. If you tell the 200 people and it's you to protect these ballot boxes and the INEC staff and the INEC materials, they will do that. But when you get there and you're looking for, the first thing instead of doing recon, when you get to the polling unit, instead of moving around, trying to do an assessment, of the environment of the place, trying to take in, do some recon. When you get to polling unit, you are going about looking for the most comfortable white plastic chair. That's what you are assessing. When you get to polling unit, you want to pick chair first. You want to be the first to pick chair, so you can spread. And spread on the chair and then sleep. But officer, thanks for the good work that you do, and I wish you and your colleagues the very best, and by extension, all Nigerians the very best tomorrow. Good afternoon, my name is Friday. It seems in this country the best thing we can offer is assurance that cannot normally be trusted. Good afternoon, I don't know for you and any other well-meaning Nigerians. I've always seen the Nigerian police statement as audio talk. They will always show their professionalism on issues that will benefit their personal gains and shun the gain of the general Nigerians, and that's from Fiddle. The police should deploy the intelligence of those politicians known for political violence. They should be proactive and not reactive. That's from Uzoma. Nigerian police have failed Nigerians time and time again. This won't be different. It's only God that can help us. That's Richard from Rumaolu. Someone here says, Dio, stop clowning. When the hoodlums come around, you will be the first to run away. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just being a clown here in the studio. You may have a point, actually, and I'm quite serious. So maybe I am a clown. Maybe I'm making all of this up. So let's assume Dio is a clown. There are others Nigerians who are not clowns. There are Nigerians who have stood up to hoodlums, and they are not police officers, by the way. And they were not wearing uniforms. They didn't have guns. They had no sticks. They had no cudgels. They had no cutlasses and machete. No, they are Nigerians who have done it. Who, when the hoodlums come to their polling unit and try to snatch their ballot boxes or try to snatch the ballot papers or try to snatch the beavers, they prevented them. I think in the last National Assembly and presidential election, there was an instance where some hoodlums had made away with election materials, and the voters chased them. The voters chased them and they recovered the materials. So maybe that is a clown. Maybe. You may have a point once again, but there are Nigerians who are not clowns, like Dio might be, who protect their votes, even in the face of possible attack by hoodlums. They've done it before, and they will do it again. Amechi Ezekiel on Facebook goes, trust and security outfits in Nigeria. There's nothing but willing tools in the hands of the powers that be against the perceived political foes. All right, I do have a commercial break shortly. Top of the hour at 5 o'clock, we've got the news update coming up, and discussions continue after that. Barrister Richard Okocha joins me in the 5 o'clock hour as we discuss INEC asks appeal court to set voter judgment to set aside judgment on temporary voter cards. All right. When I return, stick around. Hard Fact continues shortly.
You are tuned in to 99.3 Nigeria.